Audio test, audio test. Audio test, audio test. Audio test, audio test. Right, hello and good evening to you. It sounds like the audio is alright, so that's that's a relief, isn't it? I've come up with a bit of an agenda, what I want to talk about, stuff that I want to get off my chest. About the stuff that's been going on online over the last few days, and I'm not kidding. Leeds United is the club that just keeps on giving content, isn't it? It really is insane just how crazy and mad our our beloved club is, and we've got a problem already. Let's have a look at that. Yeah. Just stand by while that gets corrected. Right at the time. Right, are we back? Let's have a look. Yeah, so I was going to just say a few words about what's going on. That's it. We're all right. We're good to go now, by the sound of it. So we're good. Let's start with number one, and it begs me to say about Luke Ayling and what's going on with Luke. He's coming for a lot of stick again this week, and as I rightly predicted in my live stream during the Crystal Palace game, he's making some poor decisions, and it's interesting that a week or two ago he was talking about his disabilities and his speech impediments and things like that, and I just wonder if there's more to it than meets the eye with Luke, and has he had some kind of injury to the brain? Is he mentally fit enough to compete in the Premier League? I mean, the guy's been a great servant for us over the years, but there is going to come a time where, unfortunately, he's going to have to either hang up his boots or go to a level of football where he could compete, and his game is not under the microscope as much. And I think that what happened against Crystal Palace for Luke was like with other games we've seen this season. He's getting caught out of position. He's been giving away the ball a lot. 31 incomplete passes, I believe, against Crystal Palace, and that really isn't what we're gonna need of our defenders during a massive run-in, especially over the next 8 games. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been happening today. Gracia finished his press conference about an hour ago, so I've got a few points that he came up with, and it's interesting how he sometimes words things, and sometimes we have to try and read in deeper to what he actually says. But we'll talk about that in a little bit later on in the stream. So, as for Luke Ayling, I mean, what do you think? Do we have a replacement right back? Is it going to require a switch around in the formation? Should we start playing with a back three more often and just think, well, we're going to have to throw the sink at this and try and get as many goals as possible in between now and then, and don't worry too much about defending, because that's what it seemed to me during that Crystal Palace game, and they worked so hard in that first half against Crystal Palace, and I thought we should be all right. Like a lot of other Leeds fans, we should be all right during that game. We should have gone on and won that game convincingly, but the warning signs were there during that first half. They had a good couple of chances. They were having attacks at Firpo, also having attacks at Ayling, and it does make me worry if you thought that that Crystal Palace result was bad. This game against Liverpool on Monday night could be a lot worse. If they turn up and decide that they're going to have a go at us, we're going to be in a whole lot of problems. And the goal difference that we've had that has quickly declined under Crystal Palace could be about to get a lot worse. And if they show up and they decide they're going to want to, they could. This team that's coming on Monday night could hit us for double figures. We're going to talk about that later. Perhaps I'm going to give a Liverpool preview video thing. I don't honestly know what I'm going to say. I feel like I have a few memes up my sleeve that I think I'm going to just pump those out and let the Leeds fans let the Leeds fans and the Liverpool fans digest them. Have a little bit of a laugh and a joke, but it hasn't been a laugh and a joke this week, I can assure you. I have been reminded multiple times about that particular game against Crystal Palace, and God, that scoreline was just bloody heartbreaking, wasn't it? I was sat there during the live stream, and I went on and I'm having a chat with a few of my regulars, and we're sat there, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're looking all right. We're looking really, really good, and Palace haven't really offered very much. And oh boy, what a turnaround that was in the second half. And it's just as if Hodgson has set Palace up deliberately that way, that what we'll do, lads, is we'll sit deep, play it nice and tight in the first half, and then see how we go. And they got that goal just before half time, on the nick of half time. And I'm wondering how much of an impact that has had on the players. Rumours, of course, circulated this week that during half time of that match there was a bust up, and I can imagine that perhaps a few people have made some comments at Junior Firpo. He's been one who has come under the spotlight during that game, and Junior's had some terrific performances for the club over the last few weeks, but during that Crystal Palace game, and I said it at the time, what is the need for him to go in like that? You can't do that at this time of the game. And Palace get a free kick, whip it in, and we concede a really, really soft goal, courtesy of Guehi. And it suddenly, you're going into half time, and mentally, as a player, it can be quite a bad psychological moment during a match that, oh, here we go again. We already know that we're not very good at the back, and we've given them impetus, we've given them a bit of belief, we've given them a bit of confidence. That goal doesn't go in, and I'm sure that the result of this game would have been a completely different kettle of fish. Like with anything else, we had a few chances up at the other end. Those didn't end up bearing any fruits for us, so we go in half-time 1-1. Then we come out, and Ayew decides that he's going to turn up, start playing, and I've always said Ayew's a quality player. I've always liked him. In the past, I've had him in my dream team. I haven't got a dream team this year. Maybe next year I'll do another one. And 53 minutes he goes and gets a goal, and then shortly after, Eze on 55 minutes gets another goal. You're looking at it then thinking, the psychological impact has just got a whole lot worse, and suddenly the game is looking like a complete train wreck. How on earth are we going to, after putting the players back out and setting the team up for the second half, are you going to, within the first 10 minutes, we've conceded 2 further goals, and it puts us down at 3-1. And then you're just thinking, we need to just calm down, start playing as we were playing in that first half, start trying to control the game. McKennie's all over the place, Rocker's all over the place. The back four are scratching their heads at each other, and I imagine a bit of blame has been apportioned from one player to another one. Then we go on and they get another goal, don't they? 77th minute, Ayew gets another goal. And 69 minutes is Edouard, and he gets his goal, and you sat there thinking, for Christ's sake, 4-1. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I've literally not been able to speak all week about it. I've literally been trying just to just to ignore what I saw. It was so bad, that game, and then to finish it off, just to make us look even worse than we are, Ayew goes and gets his 5th on the 77th minute. I mean, it's so damn frustrating. You sat there and you're thinking, we're under Gracia, we're making very good progress. We're starting to collect points. We're performing well. We're not conceding goals, and the absence of Woba couldn't be more stark. I mean, we've conceded 10 goals when he's not in the last 3 games against sides who, okay, Arsenal, you think, yeah, all right, we're not let's go there and let's try not to concede, shut up the shop, try and catch them on the break. But I mean, you know, we've tried going toe to toe with them, we've ended up getting pummeled 4-1. Then we have Crystal Palace again. So that's like 9 goals, isn't it? It's an insane amount of goals, and that kind of shipping of goals is really going to hurt us, I feel. And in these last 8 games, if we don't get a grip and start picking up these points, we're going to be going down, and it might well be that we go down on goal difference if we can't get a grip of what is going on in that defence. Because at the minute, you know, Koch is I mean, a quality international player. Coops, I've said it about Coops. I've had question marks over him in the last few months, really, to be honest with you. When he's appeared for us, I'm not convinced. I think he struggles, and this is the Premier League. You know, the quality of player that we're playing against isn't the same as the Championship. This year, it's a harder division than ever. It's closer and tighter than ever before, with so many teams literally within a couple of losses could find themselves right in the mixer in the bottom 3, and we have to be. I just wonder if there's a bit of arrogance creeping in with the Radzani saying it's impossible to get, quote unquote, and I came across this week, quote unquote, it's impossible to get relegated from the Premier League. No, it isn't. It isn't impossible to get relegated from the Premier League, and there's a lot of maths at stake. There's a lot at stake here for us. I think we're just gonna have to go out with every game and go out with the mentality that we're gonna have to win. You know, we can't be showing up to places in these last 8 games thinking, oh, well, you know what, if we get a draw out of here, we'll be all right. We must go out and try and win these games. And that starts with having a tight defence. And if the defence isn't tight and they're out of position, they're advancing too much up the pitch. We've seen it with Firpo. I made a mention when he won a free kick for us that he was totally out of position when that free kick was won. Ayling as well. It's okay sending Ayling up the pitch as high up as what he goes, and I just wonder that is not a good idea. And we've kind of done this in the past under Marsh, under Bielsa, and the right back has gone up. Okay, if you've got a young fresh pair of legs who's able to get back at pace and is able to defend well when he does get back, but you're talking about a guy who's 31 going on 32, and you know, Ayling's struggling to do that. He's just not able to do it. When he does get back, you know, those sprints, they're going to be energy absorbing. Those sprints are going to certainly drain your body and mind a lot quicker than perhaps if he was just stationed on the halfway line during attacking moments in a game. So I'm not convinced at all sending Luke Ayling up front or into the final third of the pitch is necessarily helpful for us, especially in moments where we concede possession and you know, the opponent, all they have to do. If you think back to that Palace game, there was a moment there where I think it was 4 Palace players versus 2 Leeds defenders, and the rest of the defence was trying to get back, and the midfield was literally nowhere to be seen, way behind the play. And this is how we've been picked off. You know, opponents are creating chances, they're creating opportunities by winning free kicks, needless free kicks, corner balls, etc. And it's putting us under a lot of unnecessary pressure. You know, I liked it when we had more shape when we were a little bit more possession focused, a little bit more focused about trying to pull the opponent out of position. Using players like Bamford to go and making diagonal runs, Nonto coming in, or whoever it is, Aronson, trying to pull the opponent out of position, trying to get that extra space for a runner to go into. It's not that hard a game, but it's just, you sat there and you're thinking, the answers are kind of obvious, but why is it that we're just conceding like we have conceded over the last few games? When I first started this month, I was sat there like, right, there's 12 points. At least we should be picking up. If we could pick these 12 points up, we're going to be all right. There's no danger of us getting relegated. Now it seems we missed the 3 points against Palace, and that's a big 3 points. Is that a very, very big loss for us? Is that a terrible defeat, the likes of which I've not seen a Leeds side do that for a long time. In fact, I'd love to know if anybody gets any stats. When was the last time Leeds conceded 5 after going a goal up? And I bet we'll have to go back, probably the 90s, or the noughties. I mean, I bet there's probably a couple there where we were in those doldrum leagues, Championship or below. It really frightens me, and the more I talk and more I think about this, the more I'm thinking we are going to get pumped on Monday night. We're going to get absolutely pumped by Liverpool, and it could be this side managed to stick 7 past a very good Man United team, and if we show up like we did the second half against Liverpool, like we did against Crystal Palace, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, I'll tell you. I do worry for the lads, and I do worry for the fans, more importantly for the fans, because the fans who pay the brass every week, they go down there, support the team, cheer them on and all the rest of it, and when you leave Elland Road and you've been pumped, and you're just thinking, oh Christ, how the hell am I going to show up to work tomorrow? After a result like that, you're going to end up having to talk to people, see people. It really concerns me what is coming on Monday night. Let me know in the comments box if you're concerned as well. I will reply to your comments, and if it's a good comment, perhaps I missed something, of course I will reply. You might even get me to make a short based on your comment, because now I can reply using YouTube Shorts. Always make sure you write a comment if you do, and maybe you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm believing that we're in a real mess at the minute, and that anybody who thinks that we aren't going to go down, I think you're deluded. Utterly deluded. Speaking of which, I've just been reading a comment on the Facebook fans page, and it's John Smith again. I mean, I don't know if any of you go on there and watch John Smith, but or read about him, and he says something along the lines of, "We're gonna win on Monday night, and it'll be 1-0, and blah 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 blah." Well, the comments. I mean, whoever this John Smith guy is, I don't know. Maybe he wants to come on and we can have a chat. It's incredible. I mean, this league this year is incredible. It's the predictability of it is just out of the window. Nobody knows what's going to happen next, and that's what makes it so entertaining. If you're someone who just enjoys watching a game of football, this is definitely the league to watch, the Premier League. Quick quote from Javi: "It's important to be strong in this moment. It's time to be focused on ourselves, to try and compete the best way. If we're faithful with our plans, we will have many chances to achieve our target at the end of the season. I mean, it's a bit like having been a one-eyed dart player, isn't it? I'm sat there and I'm reading that and I'm like, sticking with our plans. I mean, the plans have to be adjusted literally in game at the moment. I would like to see Gracia try a couple of things. I'd like to see Javi have a go for us. Someone who's coming out of that youth team or those younger teams and a bit of energy. Someone who's more than likely proud to put a lead shirt on. We all know what's been said about Patrick Bamford. We're going to get onto him in a moment or two. I like I say, I can't tell you just how upset I was with watching that match against Crystal Palace. I'm absolutely devastated with what went on, devastated with the result, and it's taken me all this time. I mean, it's Friday now. The game happened on, when was it? Sunday, Easter Sunday. It's taken me all that time just to get over it. I have been contemplating making a video, but then I thought, you know what, time is of the essence. I'm not going to get much time to make a video, to edit it and make it nice for you guys, but unfortunately time's running out and I'm just like, bro, I'm totally flattened with everything, so I thought that's why I'll do a little live stream. Lord Patrick Bamford, item number 3 in the list of things that I have a few comments about. And we all know what Patrick said about the game post-match, and he said that fans are entitled to do whatever they like, and if they want to leave, that's up to them. As if he doesn't really give a monkeys. And I think some of the reporters' questions were a little bit awkward, and I'd like to see the reporters start being a little bit more awkward with Gracia than the players, if I'm brutally honest. What do you expect Patrick Bamford to say in that moment, in that question, after you've just come off the pitch and had an absolute hiding? Your team's had a hiding. Well, yes, of course. Perhaps the wives are at home cooking and the tea's ready. It's ridiculous. I mean, I would have struggled to have sat there for the 90 minutes until the final whistle. If I had have done, I wouldn't have booed. I don't think I wouldn't have applauded the players either. I think I'd have just been in complete shock. I think they'd have probably had to call an ambulance to take me away, or call the cops, because honestly, it was disgraceful, wasn't it? Absolutely disgraceful. He also made a number of other comments, and the reporter was trying to get him to react, but Patrick is a professional footballer. These professional footballers, they are trained in answering questions from the media. They do have sessions on the kinds of things they should be saying, the kinds of questions they might get, and when you get them, these are the best ways in which we want you to answer them. I mean, Patrick isn't going to be completely honest, is he, when he gives a post-match interview to a journalist? If we get beaten 10-0, he ain't going to tell you exactly how he feels. He isn't going to tell you who's to blame. He isn't going to tell you that we're terrible. Oh God, and the camera's stopped again, has it? Okay, just give me a second while we do get this. I'm going to have to get this sorted out, bro. Right, are we back?
Yeah, I think we're back. Maybe it's the light, because the light's on the same circuit, so I'm just wondering if there's a bit too much load going through.
Yeah, as I was saying,
he isn't going to tell you that the team is shit.
He isn't going to tell you that the manager made a load of wrong decisions. He isn't going to tell you that the coaches gave bad instructions to the substitutes. He isn't going to tell you exactly what went wrong, what happened during that game. You know, it's impossible to know. I mean, one can only surmise and think that, you know, Patrick Bamford knows in his heart of hearts what he really, really wants to say, but he isn't going to say the things he wants to say. He can't. I mean, look what happened to Conte when he said the things that he said at Tottenham. They ended up firing him for it. And I mean, he's managing a team that's in the top 4 at the time, challenging for European Cup spots next season. So I think to have a go at Patrick Bamford, we can't say that, he's one of the woke brigade. And he's one of these generations of people that doesn't want to speak the truth, doesn't tell you how it is. He's not honest. He is honest. I believe Patrick Bamford is an honest guy. He isn't gonna sit there and slate the team, slate the manager, slate the coaching staff, blame everybody else but himself. I mean, he's just one guy stood up front. And I kind of felt a little bit sorry for Patrick after that, you know, and sorry for all the players. I don't think any of us could have been prepared for what Palace did to us in that second half. They gave us a footballing lesson, is what they did. And he's on a sticky wicket. He's had 95 minutes, whatever it is, on the pitch, or 70 odd, however long he was on the pitch for. He comes off. Maybe he gets substituted, doesn't he? During that match, he got subbed, and I honestly thought that it was he did well to answer the questions. You're not going to tell the truth, and one would hope that the truths have been spoken about behind closed doors over the last few days, and that, you know, Gracia has spoken to the team, and they've all had a clearing the air session about what went wrong, because it wasn't just one thing that went wrong. It wasn't just one person to blame. Everybody was to blame, and that is part of being in a football team. You are a team. You win together, and you lose together, and you march on together. So I think that you know, Patrick has a bit of my sympathy there. He's just answered it the best way he possibly could, without going public about what's gone on. And let's be honest, you know, we've seen what happens at clubs where people are leaking stuff out of the dressing room, when people are leaking stuff out about what went on in training. We saw that at Manchester United, and I think I've spoken that about a couple of times in the past over previous live sessions. Bamford was subbed for Rutter on the 79th minute, so he's had a good few minutes to prepare his, you know, what are they going to ask me? How am I going to answer that? Perhaps discuss it with the coaching staff, Gracia. I don't think so. But Patrick Bamford, you know, he's had to play politics there with his answers, and he's had to be very diplomatic about how he answers those questions from the reporter. So I know a lot of Leeds fans are angry about what he said, and a lot of Leeds fans are, you know, calling him out, calling him this, that, and the other. I want you just to think about that from another side of the coin, and you know, if you do work in a team, how would you deal with that kind of situation when somebody does do something wrong, or you all do something wrong? And I think for Patrick, you know,
he's literally just played politics with the answer. He can't really go full throttle in front of the media. But I'm sure there've been a few words said over this week. Interesting to see that we had a few players down at Monte Carlo, and one of the reporters in Gracia's press conference did allude to that a little bit, having the players, take a bit of time out and go and have a refresh and relax. And I probably am, if I'm honest, I'm in favour of that. They've got to go clear their minds of that, go and do the things that they love, the things that they enjoy. Shoving them on a training ground the morning after for 3 hours, 4 hours, or whatever, or for the full day, isn't really going to do anything productive. I think give them a day or two just to have a bit of time off. I mean, it's Easter Sunday, a time where we all celebrate with our families, etc. And they need to do the things that they love like anybody else. Everybody's sat there calling them out, saying, it's alright if you can go down to Monte Carlo on a private jet and blah blah. It won't make any difference if what's the difference if they got a bloody Skegness or Scarborough? Are we going to be sat there taking pictures and saying, oh, well, they shouldn't be down at Scarborough after? Give over. Whatever. I think that they are entitled to a little bit of time off. One would hope that Gracia has sanctioned it, but none of the journalists asked anything about the time off. It went all over the Facebook pages. Who was it? Sinistera, Firpo, and I think, was it Tyler Adams? I might be wrong, but I did see it. I was a little bit angry about it at the time, and then I thought, well, actually, you know what? Maybe Gracia has authorised time off. Do whatever you need to do over the next 48 hours after that game. Get yourselves back to training on the Wednesday or Tuesday, and then we can go over it and we'll work on some things. Let your body recover. Recovery is a part of football that perhaps teams are paying more attention to these days. Sports psychologists and scientists, etc., advising clubs on how to get the players match fit for the next match. And 90 minutes of football in any weather, any day isn't easy. It's hard work on the body. We look at the distances that they cover, the things that they do, the tackles they endure, the headers they win, the scraps they lose, the kicks and knocks that they take, and I'm kind of for that. If they've not picked up any injuries, then it's okay. It's no problem. They pick up an injury, well, no, we really don't want you going on holiday because you're injured. And we need to give you a bit more special attention with your recovery for the next game. So that's that. Transfer business. Item number 4 on my list. Why the hell is this camera stopping working? Stand by while I figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's a dodgy cable or what it is, but let's have a look. sorted out. It's a bit of a bloody nightmare, to be honest with you. But anyway, JKA. Maybe you do remember Jean-Claude Augustin. He came, he played a few minutes for us, and now he's getting paid 24 million plus. We've paid 15 million to Leipzig. The club haven't commented about it, but apparently it's not concluded yet what's going to happen with that particular transfer deal. And I just wonder, we've signed this guy, or we've got him on loan on the premise that we're going to buy him if we get promoted. I mean, who the hell's allowed that clause to go into a contract? Number one. And number two, when we did go up, why didn't we just pay the money and keep him on the books and try and get some value out of him? I mean, we've looked at him for 3 games, and he's, you can't say that he's not how can I say this? That he's had the chance or the opportunity to prove himself. But you see, under Bielsa was ruthless, and if he thought a player was not going to make it, he'd simply just freeze him out of the first team, even the substitute bench. I mean, look at what he did with Nketiah, and Nketiah, look where he is now at Arsenal. And he should have had more minutes when he was at Leeds, I thought. Jean-Claude Augustin should have had more minutes. And I think that was one of the things that... I like Bielsa. I loved him. I think he did a great job for the club. But I also think that, because a player might struggle in Bielsa ball or appear to be lazy, don't believe that they're lazy. I mean, these players like Messi, isn't it? When they're walking around, etc., we think, well, they're just walking around, and perhaps what they're doing is assessing what the play is, where the chances are of the space occurring, where they should be, seeing if they need to drop deep, should they push forward a little bit more. That kind of player, I think Augustin was. And perhaps he wasn't really given a fair crack at the whip at Elland Road. Now we're going to have to pay the price. We're going to pay the consequences for that. And a lot of people will say, well, it was bad business by Orta. He's done a lot of bad business as Victor Orta. Everybody's going to go for Victor Orta on this one. Nobody's really going to say it's Kinnear or anybody else or Radrazani. I just think that over the years we've not been very good at transfer business. We don't seem to be getting any better at it, and this is Leeds United, and this is the way we've always been. This is the way we've always been. We're bloody hopeless at transfers. I honestly think it's it's a legal matter. I mean, what the hell are the club's lawyers doing? What are the accountants doing? Why are they not giving the advice and to Orta and saying to him, really what we've seen, we don't recommend this as a good deal for Leeds. We have to think of the best interests of the club rather than you and your personal footballing interests or likes or dislikes of a player. And the accountants have to be held responsible, I think, on this one. Why are they not getting the professional and legal advice that is needed at this level when you're dealing with multi-million-pound contracts? Is quite frankly, it's a joke. I promised myself I wasn't going to say that. It's beyond a joke. That sounds a bit better, doesn't it? It's farcical. It is such a shame that the club might end up having to fork out another 24-25 million pound on top of the 15 we've paid Leipzig for a player that we just haven't had any mileage out of at all. per minute basis is probably one of the most expensive players I read in history, coming up at nearly £900,000 a minute for his appearances at Leeds. Well, it's unacceptable. It is totally unacceptable, and I hope that the club does seek further legal advice about why the hell are we not getting the legal advice on these clauses in these contracts. Are we missing the clauses? Are we just not reading the contracts that Leipzig are putting out, or that the agents are putting out, or the players' lawyers are putting out? It's an insane amount of money for us to stump up. I don't know how the hell they're going to finance it, but I assume that what they're going to do is put the West Stand on hold, and it's unlikely, I think, that Radrazan is going to do any development work at Elland Road now before his tenureship is up. And what they're also going to do is we're going to start trying to get value out of the development squads and start selling a couple of those players. It looks like Cresswell could be on the top of that list with Drama, and I disagree, and we shouldn't be rushed into a knee-jerk sale. I think we get those two guys back, we get them in the first team, give them a chance, and try and get value out of them. Try and increase the values and the asking prices. Give them a chance to flourish in their respective under youth or development squads, England squads, and Leeds squads that we have. And just don't do anything on a whim. Don't have a knee-jerk reaction. And this would be my advice. And in future, pay more bloody attention to the contracts. Pay more attention to the consequences as well. It really beggars belief. And I mean, I assume Bielsa would have had some things to say about this when he was there. Who was it responsible? Is it Orta? Is it Bielsa? Is it someone else who's pulling the strings? Oh, we'll just sign this player and bugger what you think, Marcelo. I've said this in the past. It would be interesting to see what the actual inner workings are in the football club, and who's pulling the strings, and what these decisions are. And my sneaking suspicion is that there's more to it than the manager. The manager doesn't get much say at Leeds United in terms of the players coming in, the players going out. And he's just is it the sporting director? Is it Kinnear? Is it someone else? Who is it? I don't know. You tell me. Comment where possible. Right, we're going to wrap this one up in a few minutes, but just before we go on to that, we've had a press conference in the last hour and a half from Gracia. As usual, he didn't give much away, but there is an air of concern that a couple of injuries have been picked up. He didn't go in to say who it is exactly. He didn't say very much about Woba coming back. He didn't say much about anything. As always with Gracia, he keeps you guessing. Nobody really knows what is going through his mind against Liverpool. In my mind, it would just be pack the 18-yard box and stop Liverpool from scoring, and just do that for 90 minutes. George Graham-esque style football, but I don't think that's the way forward. We're gonna have to try and challenge Liverpool at some point during this match coming up. He sounds, and there is speculation, Gracia, that Bamford could have been injured. I also wonder if Ayling could be dropped, and perhaps Firpo as well. I wasn't too pleased with it, but I also think that I think we need to gamble. I think we need to gamble in this game. I think we need to try a couple of the lads who have not made appearances,
everybody, like the Arsenal game, everybody's expecting us to get well and truly beaten in this match. Well, I say everybody. Not many people have said that. This is what I expect. Nobody's really said that at the moment, but I personally believe we're going to get completely hammered by Liverpool after that Crystal Palace result. I'm not confident at all of a win, and I think it might be a good opportunity for us to field a couple of the players who are on the fringe. And I would certainly love to see Javi on there, and I think he could run the show for us. I'm not so sure that putting Adam Forshaw on is a good idea. I certainly think he needs. I mean, is he past? He's past his best, isn't he? Surely. You tell me what you think in the comments. If I think that, if I agree with you or disagree with you, of course. I'll respond with a YouTube short. I already said that, right? So,
that's my take on it. He said a couple of other things. I'll just have a look and quote a couple of things that were said during that presser. And let's have a little look at a couple of these because there is talk more about Cresswell, and apparently his agent is a Leeds United fan, and it sounds like a lot of Leeds fans are actually voting for Cresswell as the Millwall Player of the Year. I mean, I don't know why the hell they're doing that, because we don't want Millwall to end up signing him. It beggars belief, it really does. Pablo Hernandez's birthday was 3 days ago. That was a good one, wasn't it? I didn't bet you didn't know that. A lot of other things going on. Leeds fan jail for making yeah. An interesting one, that a Leeds fan was jailed for making racist gestures at Elland Road during a clash against Aston Villa. David Ellis, 39, from York, was filmed making gestures during a sides clash against Aston Villa Elland Road in October. He admitted racially aggravated public order offence and was jailed for 16 weeks at Leeds Magistrates last week.
I've warned about this stuff, and the Nonto chant. Are we crossing the line
about what racism is? If Nonto isn't happy
about it, it should stop. It keeps persisting.
But you know,
I was quite diplomatic in that video. But
if you go to these games and you are participating in those chants, and you do get a letter in the post or a knock at the door, it serves you right. Serves you bloody right. And that's my take on it. I'm really cross about that, but you know,
put the bugger behind bars because he doesn't deserve it, and I hope that the judge has handed down lifetime football visitation bans, and if not, the judge needs his head looking at, because there's no room for that kind of thing. Quote unquote, when we beat Liverpool on Monday, it'll be only the second time we've ever done the double over them, with the first double occurring in 2001. Quotes from this one. John Smith, I mean, is a comedian on that. Thomas Wilkinson says, guessing you missed Saturday's game. Exactly. Loving the confidence, says Andrew Dennis. Robert Green, let's hope I'm coming over to watch it, so it would be even better for me. Leeds 2-1. Love it, mate. That's us losing the match now. Oh, this might be why. This is Windows for you. It's now trying to. I'm going to start updating. You know, I'm in the middle of a fucking live stream. Leave me alone.
They go all guns blazing. Make up for Saturday. Yeah. I also figured out. So the Leeds fans are just living in hope, aren't they?
We're all living in hope. I mean, I'd love it if we beat Liverpool. I just don't think it's going to happen on this universe.
I really don't. It's gonna be. It's ridiculous. There's clickbait going around saying Melier wants to leave. Why is it before any game a lot of nonsense just gets published by? Well, I'm not going to mention the names of these publishers, but I don't know. I don't know why that happens. Luton Town are heading towards the playoffs. Cody Drama has a year left on his deal at Leeds. They could be open to sell the player. They could agree a transfer fee for him in January. He's likely to make a decision on his future right after the playoffs. Get him back playing for Leeds. Get him back playing for Leeds. Why are we letting this talent walk out the door for next to nothing when we could get them in the first team, develop them, and hopefully they could do a good job for us, and obviously increase the valuations of them. It beggars belief that it's Hayden Evans who says LUFC home and away strikers, season ticket holders over 20 years. So he's saying that he's very close to leave. He was close to leaving in January, but that has changed now for Creswell. Why are we not?
I mean, if we get this, if Creswell comes back, I rated Creswell before they sent him out on loan. I didn't want us to send out these players on loan, but we've had to do it, I think, under FFP. And instead of sending some of the other fringe players out, Creswell was making appearances in the first team. So why are you sending someone out who's making appearances in the first team? It beggars belief, and this is why I said in the past that some of the stuff, the business end of it is just nonsensical. It really is nonsensical. They would be open to another loan deal. No, he shouldn't be open to a loan deal. He should be saying to Orta, Razani, Kadir, not so much Grathia, that he's there to compete for a place in the starting 11. He's well worthy of competing for the starting 11. Get him in. And let's get some value out of these players who we've invested a lot of time, energy and effort in developing over the years. I'm going to conclude this stream by saying that, and just surmising over what's gone on finally with the Crystal Palace game. And that is that, is there a hint of nobody really cares because the manager who we're working under is on a game-by-game contract? And if that is the case, and there is a bit of this psyche going on in the dressing room amongst the players, especially the senior ones, wouldn't you be happy for... How would you feel about putting Grathia on a year deal, and getting Grathia signed up and saying, right, you're going to be in charge of this team for the next 12 months and you are now the man responsible? Because at the moment, this game-by-game contract that he's on, it seems to me that it is undermining the manager's authority in the dressing room amongst the players. That, well, we had a bad match, but so fucking what? Manager could be gone next game, so it don't matter, does it? The team and the club need stability. That's what we had a bit of, and we enjoyed that under Bielsa. And things started getting rotten for Bielsa, and I would be happy. And I think the players would be happier if they knew who the coach was going to be for the next 12 months, 18 months. And I think Grathia would be a good fit. I think he's done enough to prove that he knows football, he knows the Premier League, he knows what it's about, he knows how to pick up the points, which is something that we were failing to do under the leadership guides of Jesse Marsh. So...
let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have different ideas. It would have been nice to invite people on, but I've managed to get through just over an hour now on this live stream. And let's just hope that when Monday comes that we don't get it isn't some kind of rugby score, 10-0, 11-0. And because if that happens, and there's a chance it could happen, a very good chance, it would be shatteringly bad news for Leeds. I think we need a bit of good news coming out this week. We've had the news about Jack Harrison, and I certainly think that the club have to show more confidence in the manager. It's not his fault we are where we are. He's doing his best for us. He's a very astute, diligent guy, softly spoken, doesn't get too excited about things. He's very, very professional, down to earth, and I hope that we give this guy quickly a contract that is worthy of keeping him, because I think he's a bit of quality that we need in a time when we need it. And I still think that he'll steer us away from relegation. I think with 8 games left, I still think there's enough points there for us to go and win, to go on and continue and stay out of the relegation zone. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree with me. I'd love to hear from you if you do, whatever your opinion is. I'm going to end this live stream now, so thank you very much if you managed to watch even just a segment of it, but it would be really, really wonderful if you watched all of it. And take care of yourselves, have a great weekend ahead. Let's march on together and hope that Monday night, when Monday comes, that we're all rejoicing and saying how great the Leeds team is. And it's great to be a Leeds fan, and it's great to be alive, and great to see all this stuff. All the very best. Cheerio.